All right. Hey,
Hey,
Alan.
good. How are you, Jen?
Good. So,
Good.
one of the questions that, or like one piece of anxiety from the buyers is in order to win, oftentimes they're going like above asking and they feel like maybe they're overpaying or like they haven't bought a house in 15 years and the market was really different. It feels like, oh my God, these prices are so high. But
Yeah.
one thing you always talk about is being protected by the appraisal. Can you like tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. And I agree. It is an anxious time because they are paying what seems to be exorbitant prices for these houses. So, um, in years past, there was the appraiser and the lender were connected, meaning they could speak to each other.
Mhm.
And uh, as you know, in 2008, when the housing market crashed, part of the problem was this sort of connection between the appraiser and the lender, where you could kind of do a, wink, wink, nod, nod to, make sure that that house appraised at what everybody wanted it to appraise. It's
Right.
completely different now. The lender and the appraiser are separate. Lenders don't know the appraiser. They order an appraisal. It's another company. So the appraiser does their job and they're doing it independent of the lender. So it's their opinion. As we know, an appraisal is one person's opinion on the day they do the appraisal. So
Right.
that's all it is. So that protects the buyer because the appraiser is going to do their job and they're going to appraise what that house is worth. So when I tell the buyer, look, you're going to be protected on an appraisal.
Mhm.
You are paying what feels like to be overpriced, but the appraisal is going to protect us. And if it comes in as the appraisal is not what the house is worth, we go back to negotiation. So you're not locked in.
Right.
It is going to be an
Well, and I
independent.
think another point too is that when the appraiser submits the report, the bank they have a lot of oversight. And so they often have a review process to make sure that the appraiser is using actual comparable relevant properties. And to them, oftentimes, especially if you're in like a neighborhood, there are properties that are close in proximity,
Mhm.
in similar sizes. And if people have ever seen like an appraisal report, it looks sort of like a spreadsheet.
Yeah, it does.
So it really is data. And there was, you're right, in times past where, um, yeah, we used to call it affecting the
The effect, the
the
appraisal.
appraisal.
Yes.
Yeah, but
That could-
it's so like there's a lot of oversight now, so it really has to
Sure.
be correct. And if it comes back wrong, so like if it comes back wrong, there are steps that we can take to say, hey, look, this comparable is better.
Mhm.
Oftentimes that like doesn't work
Right.
unless it really is wrong. Like there have been
Right.
times where the appraisal something it was really wrong, like something
Right.
was wrong, and
Right.
that's okay. But like oftentimes it's just based in
Really
just
hard.
facts.
Yeah, no, it's really hard because, as you stated, lenders have their own system, that automated system, and they will ask questions about the
Yeah,
appraisal, saying, okay, this house looks like it's a complete comparable. Why didn't you use that house for
right.
this appraisal? So they have to do their job, and there is oversight.
Yeah.
And so you're right, it's much more regulated today than it used to be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we appreciate your insights.
Yeah.
There's so many steps in a real estate transaction. It seems like it should just be easy. Like, I like this house. I want to buy this house. The seller wants to sell this house. Let's do that. But
But we
it's
have
not.
to, yeah, as a listing agent, we have to sell this house many times.
Yeah.
We have to sell it to the buyer, we have to sell it to the inspector, we have to sell it to the appraiser.
And to the
There,
agent, their agent, the buyer's
and to their
agent.
agent. Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of steps to it.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, if people are interested in selling their home or learning more about that process, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Text or call 513-646-1488.
Awesome. Bye,
Yeah.
Alan.
Bye-bye.